It's Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. I'm Greg Nibbler, and this is Digital Trends Live. Yes, indeed. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. Like I said, I'm Greg Nibbler, and thanks for joining us wherever you are. We appreciate it. We broadcast live here every single weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you trending tech headlines, news, interviews, discussions, and more. And we're broadcasting live, so hit that subscribe button, share the show, let other people know about it, and let's get you started off with some trending tech news. Well, the back and forth between Apple and Epic Games over their App Store policies has officially reached the courts, with a hearing and an initial ruling already taking place. So the bulk of the lawsuit brought forth by Epic Games against Apple over their App Store policies and the blocking of Fortnite will be settled at a later date. But Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers has laid out some rules for the time being. So the first one has to do with Apple threatening to remove Epic Games' developer's license from its App Store. If Apple were to do this, it would remove Epic's ability to work with third-party game developers that utilize its Unreal Engine software. So new development would instantly be hindered. It also could be a way for Apple to have an effect on games that currently use the software, which prompted Microsoft to already issue a statement in support of Epic and some other developers to already start stepping away from Unreal Engine. So other developers are starting to do that. Microsoft voiced support for Epic. Now, an Apple attorney argued that Epic might transfer its App Store misconduct to its other entities like Unreal Engine. However, Judge Rogers said that, quote, "It does look retaliatory and it looks like an overreach to me." Now, when it comes to Fortnite, however, things did not go Epic's way. Judge Rogers said that the Fortnite ban was Epic Games' own fault and that it was a strategically and calculated move to breach Apple's policies, and even suggested that Epic reverse their original update, which violated the App Store policies in the first place. So there is a whole lot of back and forth going on with this, with statements from both attorneys, and that's where we're at right now. So Fortnite is still banned. Unreal Engine is not. Now, the next big hearing is on September 28th, but who knows what could happen between now and then. Expect a lot. You can read more about it at digitaltrends.com. All right, and here is your daily update and the other big tech fight, TikTok versus the U.S. government. So as part of the lawsuit that TikTok has filed against the U.S. government to challenge and stop the ban that was placed upon it by the president's executive order, they have officially revealed their user base numbers for the U.S. This is the first time. TikTok claims to have 100 million monthly active U.S. users of its platform, which marks an 800% growth since January of 2018, with about 50 million being daily active users. They also said they've been downloaded 2 billion times globally, which is still behind Facebook, which is at 2.7 billion worldwide. Now, in addition to the lawsuit that TikTok as a company has brought, there's also a lawsuit being brought forth by an employee of the company. So Patrick Ryan is a technical program manager with TikTok who is suing the Trump administration under the guise that government action of banning the company would unconstitutionally deprive him of a job. So according to Bloomberg, Ryan said, quote, "I've done nothing wrong. I haven't received any notice personally from the U.S. government and don't see why my paycheck should be taken from me," unquote. He also has a crowdfunding campaign going to raise money for his legal efforts. Now, this is completely separate from TikTok, the company's lawsuit. So expect news to rapidly change on this as their lawsuit makes its way into the court system. And while the ban deadline looms, we don't know how this will affect the potential sale to a company like Microsoft or Oracle. Like everything, it changes by the hour, so follow along at digitaltrends.com. Amazon may be bringing their wireless cashier technology from their Go stores to Whole Foods a whole lot sooner than originally planned. So Amazon Go convenience stores were first set up for employees in Seattle in 2016, but then rolled out publicly in 2018. So the idea behind them is to get people in and out a lot faster than they normally would, with the original plan being to help people on the go for their lunch breaks or in between meetings and so on. The tech behind it works like this. When you go into a store, you scan the Amazon Go app at the entrance, which then allows you to enter the store. Now, the entire store is covered in cameras and scanners to monitor everyone inside, but also utilizes smartphone geofencing to know what you place in your shopping bag or even if you put something back on a shelf. When you're ready to leave, you just walk out the door and your Amazon account is charged for what you took with you, in theory, having never interacted with a store employee. Now, naturally, there are actual employees there to answer questions, solve problems, stock shelves, or check IDs for alcohol, but you don't necessarily ever have to talk to them. Now, the idea of this tech rolling out to a much larger store like Whole Foods isn't terribly surprising because they are rapidly expanding the regular Go stores. They've got 26 already implemented, plans for more cities to get them, and Go grocery stores are going to start opening up in 4 different cities in the US as well. So aside from the massive amount of tech that would be needed to monitor a store the size of Whole Foods, another concern from the industry is that what it could do to current jobs at those locations. It's also not that far of a stretch to anticipate robots could eventually handle a lot of the restocking and maintenance in the stores, so we'll have to see how the industry responds. Nonetheless, according to the New York Post, the plan is to start rolling out the tech to Whole Foods stores in the second quarter of 2021. So we're not that far away from seeing this being implemented. Read more about it at digitaltrends.com. The U.S. Air Force has had its first demonstration of a flying car as part of its new Agility Prime program. So Agility Prime is the program under which the Air Force wants to help accelerate the commercial market for advanced air mobility vehicles, or flying cars, which they also call orbs in military jargon. The idea is that these are non-traditional military vehicles, but they could support military missions or supply delivery, search and rescue missions, and so on. Now, this particular vehicle was part of a partnership with a company called Lyft, not the LY Lyft that competes with Uber, but a company that spells it Lyft, which is the real way. Anyway, they are not related. So this Lyft has been around for a while, even showcasing this particular aircraft, the Hexa, at South by Southwest in 2019, when we could have events like that. Where the Hexa is set up with a cockpit that's surrounded by a kind of honeycomb array of 18 different rotors. It's semi-autonomous in that a pilot controls it, but its stability is maintained by flight control computers, so suppose you don't flip it or go sideways. It's got a joystick and a small touchscreen for controls and a triple redundant computer to monitor its power level, which is electric. So Will Roper, the Air Force acquisition chief, stated now is the perfect time to make Jetsons cars real, and he notes that this is the first of many different demonstrations. So the overall goal is to have the vehicles in the field fully functional by 2023, but it seems they maybe even be ahead of that, with 15 other aircraft manufacturers wanting to team up with them. Definitely an interesting development. Read more about it at digitaltrends.com. And we keep you up to date on everything that is going on in the world of tech, and that includes new product releases, and we have some today, and that is because Fitbit has launched some new stuff, and we've got our own Christian DeLooper here to talk about it. Christian, as always, good to see you. It's been a while. Tell us about these new announcements from Fitbit.
Hey, Greg. Yeah, so there's 3 new Fitbit devices. There's the new flagship Fitbit Sense, which is Fitbit's new take on a smartwatch. There's the Versa 3, which is kind of replaces the Versa 2, which was the previous generation flagship Fitbit device. And there's the new Inspire, which is kind of like a basic fitness band, comes in $100. Small upgrade over the previous generation Inspire device, and yeah, great option for those who just kind of want to track their fitness a little without paying too much cash.
Going back through here and taking a look at each one of these, so the Fitbit Sense. Now, this is one that does have some of those upgrades that you were talking about.
Yeah, so the Sense is Fitbit's flagship device. It has a electrocardiogram sensor, kind of like the Apple Watch has had for the past few years. It also has an EDA, or electrodermal activity sensor, which Fitbit says can help track stress, which we know we could all use in 2020. So Fitbit's kind of taking more of an approach to tracking health and fitness as a whole instead of just physical health. Also helping people, I guess, track their stress levels and helping people kind of manage that stress as well. It also has a 6-day battery life, and finally, Google Assistant support instead of just Alexa support, which was available in the previous Versa 2, which is a big step for Google users.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting with this integration into Google to see how much that's going to influence things. So you've got the Fitbit Sense, which is the flagship one. Then you've got the Versa 3, which is the upgraded Versa.
Yeah, that's right. The Versa 3, it's not quite on the same level as the Sense. It doesn't have the electrocardiogram sensor or the EDA, electrodermal activity sensor. It's still a smartwatch experience, or as close to a smartwatch experience as you'll get in a Fitbit right now. It does still have a built-in GPS and a 6-day battery life. So it's a solid device for those who kind of want the basic, better than basic fitness tracking, but still don't necessarily need the EKG sensor or the electrodermal activity sensor. It's $100 cheaper than the Sense as well, coming in at $230.
Nice. So you've got that one. So the Fitbit Sense, the Fitbit Versa 3, and then the Fitbit Inspire 2. Where does that kind of fall in the catalog of these new devices?
Yeah, the Inspire 2 is kind of Fitbit's entry-level device. There's no smart assistant, no Google Assistant or Alexa, no EKG or EDA or anything like that. You'll get step tracking, you'll get a heart rate monitor in there. But there's also a 10-day battery life, which is pretty sweet. And that's 5 days more than the previous generation Inspire device. And it's only $100. So, it's an entry-level device.
And now, have you had a chance to try out these?
No, I have not yet. We only had virtual briefings yesterday, so I've just checked them out virtually. But hopefully soon I'll be able to get my hands on those.
Nice. Well, I know we've got everything written up to you at Digital Trends for people to take a look at. It's interesting seeing all the new health benefits come out with all of these new watches that are coming out, whether it's Samsung or Apple, but now Fitbit as well. Maybe being a kind of more of a competitor for some of that. So pretty cool stuff. And Christian, as always, thank you, for being here and letting us know what you've discovered with us and keeping us up to date with all of this.
My pleasure. It's good to see you, Greg.
Good to see you too. Christian DeLuper right here on Digital Trends Live. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We've got a lot coming up on the show today. But up next, we've got something special. We've got an interview with Kyle MacLachlan. Yes, Dale Cooper. Yes, he is here. And so he's going to be here on the show. It's an interview that we did. It's about his new movie coming out, Tesla, where he plays Thomas Edison. So that is next. Stick around. Back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. And welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler, and again, thanks for joining us wherever you are. We appreciate it. Now, our next guest is known for so many iconic roles, whether it's Special Agent Dale Cooper in Twin Peaks or playing the mayor of Portland, Oregon. And now, alongside Ethan Hawke, who plays Nikola Tesla in IFC Films' Tesla, he has taken on the role of Thomas Edison. It's Kyle MacLachlan. Hello, Kyle. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for having me on. What a nice introduction. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, it's not hard when we're talking to you. So something that I wanted to bring up here just first is this film being about, two really iconic historic characters in Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, in addition to some of the other ones. What did you learn about these actual people from taking on this role?
Thank you for asking that. The research part of this process to me is very interesting, and I spent a lot of time reading about him, talking with Michael Almereyda, our director, about him, looking at photographs, looking at film actually of Thomas Edison, conducting tours of his laboratory, just photographs of him moving through space, and all that is really helpful to try to absorb and get into the actual person, the man himself. Along the way, I learned a few things. I guess he was very, very good at taking naps. He would be able to nap just about anywhere. He'd lay down on a bench in his workshop and take a little 20-minute power nap. And I thought that was interesting. He also had a very interesting quote. He's credited with saying that inspiration is 1% genius, 99% perspiration. But the one that I love the most is opportunity is often missed by most people because it comes wearing overalls and looks like work. And I think that that really sums it up. He was a workaholic, and just surrounded himself with super, super smart guys. And they together obviously have created a number of things which we are still using today.
One of the things, speaking of that, what they created in the trailer, it seems to blend kind of current technology with the technology of that period. How is it that the story is being told so that those two times kind of intertwine?
That's Michael Almereyda, our director, and the script. He decided that at some point in time during the development of the story, that he wanted to be able to jump time a little bit. And he has a terrific partner in Eve Hewson, who plays Anne Morgan, and she operates as the narrator of the story, really. And she's the first one who breaks the tradition, and you see her opening a laptop and referring directly to the camera about these two men and where they were at the time, how well known they were, and even to today, how they are remembered. I also got to play with that a little bit when I pull out an iPhone out of my vest pocket. But everything is done, sort of without a huge amount of focus on it. It's sort of in the background. It sort of happens and then it kind of disappears. I think they're just subtle reminders and references to the fact that what happened then is still being felt today.
Well, and talking about that, kind of some of those parallels from there to now, and I'm just curious if you thought about this, about any of the parallels between, say, Thomas Edison and Tesla back then to Elon Musk and like Jeff Bezos now and modern inventors, and if you see any kind of, I guess, direct parallel between those two.
Sure. I mean, I think it comes down to personalities, and again, someone like Tesla, who obviously brilliant, thinking of a world in which electricity could help humanity, but in a way that was so far beyond where anyone could imagine, that he was really almost a man ahead of his time. And you compare him to Edison, who was a guy who was very pragmatic, very much in the moment. Obviously he didn't invent the light bulb actually, but he made it possible to be commercially viable. So he created a better light bulb, if you will. And so, he also invented other things, but he was really able to take something that existed and improve it and then bring it to market, which is one of his great skills. His business acumen was very, very high, like a Bezos and like an Elon Musk too. They're Elon's sort of a combination of the two. He's got the brilliant mind and the ability to bring it to market. And I think above and beyond, there's a certain kind of a showmanship that exists in the men that you mentioned, like Edison certainly had a showmanship quality. He was able to present things not unlike Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. They come to the masses and they make these pronouncements, and everyone gets really super excited because they're so confident and excited about what they have. And that's something that's common in both time periods.
Something else I wanted to ask, you mentioned business acumen, and this is going to one of your side businesses, and that is your wine label, Pursued by Bears. And I had to ask this, what for Kyle MacLachlan are the most important characteristics of a damn fine glass of wine?
Well, it has to be from Washington State, first of all. That's where I make the wine. We started in 2005. And the idea all along has been is to make a wine of such a high quality that it can compete on the world stage. And we have that ability in Washington. We're the underdog. Nobody really knows about us yet, but we make wine up there that I will say is damn fine and worth a look.
Going from the at the beginning there, Special Agent Dale Cooper from Twin Peaks. What is it about Dale Cooper that makes him so iconic to so many people?
Gosh, he really is a special combination of qualities, really. I mean, he's a stand-up guy. He's quirky, of course. He has a great passion for certain things around him, whether it's Douglas fir trees, coffee, donuts, and friendship. His friendship, I think, with the character Michael Onkeen played in the original, Sheriff Harry S. Truman. And he's the real deal, he's morally upright, straight shooter, and does the right thing. And I think someone like that can be very, very comforting. He's also the guy that you are okay with going into a dark place. And so he has that kind of confidence and strength of character that I think people just know that they can trust him and rely on him. And those are things that were very appealing, I think, to our fans. I mean, let's be honest, he's set in the wonderful world that was created by David Lynch of Twin Peaks, and that environment in and of itself is pretty special. But I felt like that as a character, he was really also the person that could bring in the audience, liaise with them, and carry them through the story in an interesting way.
I want to just a quick follow up to that. What was it like returning to that role after so many years?
Well, it was challenging, as you can imagine, and a little nerve-wracking initially. I was happy that the suit still fit, though. That was a very good thing.
That's got to be a good feeling. Something we want to do here at the end is just kind of ask some quick questions and get your response on which side you stand. If you want to comment on it, great. If not, you don't have to. So when it comes to social media, TikTok or Instagram?
Oh, I'm old school, so I guess Instagram, if that can be old school.
And I've seen you post on TikTok though. You've got some pretty good videos on there.
Yeah, thank you. I'm still kind of figuring out the format. So I'm excited by it, but I think I feel more comfortable with Instagram.
Cell phone or alarm clock?
I do cell phone. I like the idea of the alarm clock, though. I always feel like I need a backup. I always feel like I go with the cell phone, but the alarm clock is my backup because I know it's going to
go. All right. Knowing that you are a Seahawks fan, David Lynch or Marshawn Lynch?
Wow. I would like to see David Lynch run the ball through the line, actually. That would be very interesting. I think he could do it. I'm gonna go. David Lynch. David Lynch. I have to go with David Lynch because he's my pal and my buddy. But huge appreciation for Marshawn.
Final. I've got two more here, just real quick ones. Space travel or time travel?
Ooh, time travel, definitely. But curious about space travel.
And final one, rosé or Jose?
Does Jose make tequila?
Yeah.
I'll go with rosé.
It makes sense.
I'll leave the tequila to George. That's what we'll do.
Well, Kyle, thank you so much for spending some time with this. It's just such a pleasure to talk to you. And I want to remind everybody too, the movie is out. Everybody can go get it. It's on digital, on demand, and in select theaters as well. So Tesla, check that out. And Kyle MacLachlan, thank you so much for being here on Digital Trends Live. It's such a pleasure.
Pleasure. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right. That is Kyle MacLachlan right here on Digital Trends Live. That was awesome. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler, and again, thanks for joining us wherever you are. We appreciate it, and we are broadcasting live. And right now, it's time for Who's Got Gabe, where we partner with Full Screen to talk to incredible talents and influencers. And joining us right now, we have singer-songwriter Alec Chambers. Alec, hello. Thanks for being here.
What's up, Greg? Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
You bet. Alec, there's a lot of questions that I want to ask you, but one of the things we always ask people is just how they got their start in doing what they do. So for you, what started your path down a career in music?
Yeah, man. So I've always wanted to be an artist, especially from like a young age, since I was like 11 or 12 years old. I picked up the guitar from my dad. He was the one who sort of like got me influenced. He used to play in like bands a lot, like when he was younger and stuff. And he sort of like instilled the passion in me to want to do music and want to be an artist. So definitely comes from my dad.
Well, going from there, from going into being a musician to going onto YouTube and TikTok, and you've had some pretty tremendous success over the last few years with that. Can you tell us what some of the keys have been to that success?
I think one of the biggest things is like just being authentic and like being yourself, because I think a lot of kids and a lot of people long for like the authenticity and like the realness and the rawness of an artist or even just like an influencer. I think in like a world right now where like a lot of things are like super like fabricated, I guess, online, like I think a lot of people search for like the rawness and like the emotional aspect of like being a musician and being an artist. So I think like just being authentic and being yourself.
Talking about your inspiration, I do want to ask, because I've noticed that in a lot of your posts and your videos, you have pictures of yourself with shirts like Nirvana and Alice in Chains. Is there something about that grunge era that you like in particular?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's where like a lot of my roots are. Like, I think like I grew up listening to like a lot of punk bands and like a lot of rock bands, like the Sum 41s and like the Blink 182. So I think like a lot of the rockiness and like the rawness of my voice, I think spawns from like a lot of that, a lot of like the pop punk era and like a lot of that stuff, because that's what like I grew up listening to. So yeah.
Going from that, talking about kind of the modern era of music, where do you find inspiration from when it comes to other artists? Is there anybody in particular that you're listening to a lot right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of my inspiration, a lot of it spawns from like the real life experiences that like I've gone through, and like a lot of the relationships that have worked out and some that have not worked out. And then just sort of like the ups and downs of like being an artist. But yeah, I mean, someone who I love Lauv, I love Black Bear. I love Jeremy Zucker. I love like the 1975. I mean, like there's so many people who I look up to and that I love. And yeah, I love those guys.
I saw that you post that Cardi B retweeted your version of WAP. What was that like, seeing her retweet one of your versions of that?
Yeah, man. I mean, that was nuts. So like, I sort of did that not as like a joke, but I think I like to take songs that are like from TikTok and make them into my own, because I feel like I can put sort of like a lyrical spin on them. So when I watched like when I had watched like a lot of other people do it and I saw her repost it, I was like, wow, like I like don't believe this. But like it just goes to show how many people you can really reach with your cell phone. I mean, like it's really amazing. Yes, I mean that was like very surreal, for sure.
Going for you, and just you found this success so far on here and obviously growing all the time, but for other musicians that are out there that are maybe starting out, what would you recommend to them, or what kind of advice would you have for them?
I think that my biggest thing is I feel like you have to be patient. I think that's a big that's like a very big factor, and you have to stay true to yourself, and make the music that you want to make, not what you think other people will like. You have to make the music that you want to make, and just to be able to trust the process and believe in yourself. I feel like you really have to like believe in yourself, because I feel like if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is gonna believe in it. So that's I feel like that's very important. Yeah.
Would you, if you had to choose between the two, would you rather perform in a studio with the entire setup or live on a stage?
I mean, I love playing live. I mean, that's why like I got into this in the first place, right? I mean, is to be able to perform my music live for the fans, and yeah, I mean, to be on a stage and to be having that like emotional kind of connection with the fans, and like being live on stage. Yeah, I definitely think that's the right idea.
If you could collaborate with any musician of your choosing on stage, who would it be?
If I can do a collab with anyone right now, it would probably be Chelsea Cutler. I love her music. That'd be cool.
Nice. Well, you also have your single, which is out, and I want to let everybody know about
Yes.
that, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about it. It's called Something to Cry About. Tell us about the inspiration behind that.
Yeah, Something to Cry About was written at a time where I was in a relationship, but I felt like I wasn't receiving the kind of love that I felt like I deserved, I guess you could say. So it was just kind of like, I want to feel something. Like, I want to feel something, whether it's good or bad. Like, I want you, like, to give me something to cry about, like, I guess. So yeah, I mean, that song is about, it's just about having to feel some kind of emotion from the partner that you're with when they aren't sort of like giving you the same thing back. And it's about to hit 1 million streams, which is going to be like my first original song to ever hit 1 million streams. So like, I'm super pumped about that.
That's awesome. That's a platinum stream. I mean, that's amazing. Congratulations.
No, thanks, man. Thank you. Crazy. Yeah.
So what's next on the horizon?
Next on the horizon is releasing more of my own stuff, having out an EP either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, and just to be able to keep releasing music that I love. And yeah, just got to keep it going.
Nice. Well, Alec, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us. Congratulations on that. 1 million streams. That's amazing. And clearly just the start. So who knows where that's going to end up. But appreciate you being here with us and sharing some advice and just talking about your career. Thanks for being here on Digital Trends Live.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. See you soon.
Alec Chambers here on Digital Trends Live. Again, really, really cool talking about that. All right, here we are. We have reached the end of the show. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm Greg Nibbler again. So we are live here every single weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, for Digital Trends Live. You can join in, hit subscribe, share the show, let other people know about it. You can be a part of this. Drop it in the comments or just follow along with your favorite segments. So thanks for being here. Tomorrow we've got some more great things for you, but you're going to have to wait till then to see what it is, because I'm telling you, it's going to be good. You're not going to want to miss it. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Greg Nibbler. I'll see you right back here tomorrow with another edition of Digital Trends Live.